everybody, welcome to Simple Art at Home with me, Laura Houston. Today we are going to draw a tortoise and we are focusing on line, the element of art line. So we're going to start with a warm-up, practicing different kinds of lines, and then we will draw our tortoise. So I will meet you at the art table. Okay, you're going to need 2 pieces of paper. And you'll want a pencil to sketch out your tortoise and a black crayon or a black pen to draw with. Let's start with practicing lines. So if you participated in the simple caterpillar or the house pets, we practice with line. Why don't you draw a straight line? This is just a warm-up. So this will be our warm-up paper, and then on this paper we will draw the tortoise. And you can draw a thin line. You can practice drawing zigzags. Any type of line that you can imagine. These are fun, little curly Q lines. Maybe switch to a different, like if you have a crayon or a pencil, you can practice different kinds of lines. So maybe something like this. You can practice cross-hatching, which looks like this. That's cross-hatching. You can make it even closer of a cross-hatch. You can do thick lines, like a thick line, and then turn your pen and do a thin line. A thick line, and then a thin line. Or you can do dashes, long and short. Or long and then short, short patterns. Right? You can do curved lines. So anything that you can think of, just practice making lines. Because eventually when we work on the tortoise shell, we're going to be filling the tortoise shell with different types of lines. Even little V's. How about that? Some squigglies. Lines are fun to make. You can look around the room to see what kinds of lines that you see in your room. There we go. Okay. So if you want to keep doing that, you can. You can pause the video to keep working on your lines. I am going to set them aside and work on my tortoise. And we're going to start with the tortoise shell. So I'm going to point something out to you to make sure that you fit all the parts of the tortoise on the rectangular paper. So I'm going to go back up to the easel. Okay. So the first time I did this, I ran out of room to put his head there. So just remember, not only are you drawing the shell, but you're going to need to have room over here for his or her head, room for the feet at the bottom of the paper. So don't draw the shell sitting on the bottom of the paper because you need room for feet. Leave space for a little tail. So keep that in mind. I'll meet you back at the table. Okay, so in order to draw the shell, I am going to draw a curve, something like this. And then I'm just going to connect it from one side to the other. And I'm trying to make sure that I leave room for head over here. And then I'm going to draw another little lower part to his shell that looks something like this. Now, before we draw anything else, we're going to divide the shell into sections, because if you've ever looked at a tortoise shell, you'll notice it's very textured and there's different sections. So just go ahead, and these don't have to be perfect. They can just be any sections, kind of, this interesting shape, but the shape can change. So we're just going to have some curved sections here. large because we're going to fill each section with a different pattern of lines. Maybe one over here, something like that. Okay, I think that looks good. And then let's go ahead and add his head and neck. So on Tortoise, you know, his head comes out, like his neck kind of comes out from here. So we'll just draw something like, let's see, something like this. Coming out. And they kind of have a, this is a silly one. It's a cartoony, this is a cartoony tortoise. And he's got a little face like that. You know, maybe we'll draw an eyelid and an eye underneath. Something like that. And then we want to add legs. We'll just draw some simple, tortoises have those big sturdy legs that come out to, they can support the weight of their body. So we'll do one leg there, and let's do another leg in the back. And I just kind of do these little wavy lines down here. And then you can add a tail, like a little tail that comes out. I think they have small tails. Okay, there we go. So we have the beginning part of our tortoise. Now let's start with some lines on the feet or the legs. I'm just going to draw some wavy lines to show the pattern of, they kind of have like scales on their legs. I have a big tortoise at home. Okay. And if you want to, we can also kind of show the underside of the belly down here. So it kind of goes like this, like it's a line. Some lines that look like that. So it shows his belly under the shell. Okay, so the next step is to fill in his shell with all different kinds of patterns and lines to make it look like texture. So you do not have to do exactly what I am doing, but if you want to, you can. I'm going to do some like crisscross lines here. On that part of it. I almost forgot to add this little section right here to show the underbelly back there as well. Kind of finishes it off there. Okay. And I think I'll do some curvy lines in this section so you can fill up your tortoise shell however you want to. Just doing some little kind of like scales, but not necessarily, just curvy lines. I'm considering darkening the original lines so I can see the separation a little bit better, but I think I'll decide at the end if I want to do that. We're also just focusing on like experimenting with patterns. These are just some box shapes, kind of like squares or rectangles in this section. We can do some concentric circles here. If you want to, you can add color to your tortoise. Ooh, I'm going to do wavy and crosshatch on this one. that craziness. Maybe I'll do zigzags here. I'm gonna go ahead and darken the dividing lines because I want to be able to see those better. I think it looks good. I'm just using the thick part of my pen to do this. Okay. And ooh, I might do like an interesting little like overlapping, like kind of like a roof shingle. I feel like adding some circles in this. And I have two more spaces to fill up. I'm gonna refer to my page over here because I can't think of what to do. Oh, maybe I'll do some dashed lines. And it's okay to turn your paper sideways if you need to be able to draw the lines that way. It's kind of a neat pattern. And maybe I'll do, I like that pattern so much, maybe I'll do it vertically over here. Kind of doing dashes, long and short. There. And if you want to add anything else, like any other details, you can. Like you could definitely add like lines here if you wanted to. And again, you can add color, but this is mostly what I wanted to make sure that you worked on today for this tortoise. We made a simple tortoise and we focused on lines and patterns. So I will meet you back up at the easel. Okay, so I hope you had fun making a tortoise, and I think that it would be great if you added color, maybe even a sky behind it and a ground and a sun and clouds if you wanted to keep drawing or coloring in. So thank you very much for drawing along with me, and I will see you next time. Bye. See you next time.